Hey YouTube, I got a question for you. What does a $500 reel sound like? Well, guess what? You're about to find out. It sounds like a fighter jet, and best part, took my thumb completely off that. Not a single backlash or bird's nest in there. That is because this is the Shimano Metanium DC, their premium DC reel, and it's a pretty penny too. It costs $499. It's expensive. So I tell you what, it is smooth, it sounds great, and we're gonna talk about it today. Is this reel really worth it to go out and pay this much money? So stay tuned, let's talk about the reel. Hey folks, welcome back here. It's Ben from One Cast Fishing. As you saw from the intro, and probably the thumbnail and all, today I'm talking about and reviewing the Shimano Metanium DC. This is an expensive reel. It is $499. Now I've used a couple Shimanos in the past, but never the DC capability, and we'll talk about what DC is in a second. And I also don't own this thing, so I took advantage of Tackle Warehouse's demo program. You can go on their website, you can check it out. But ultimately for 20 bucks, they'll ship you some reels, you can demo them and you ship them back. Now they do charge you the deposit, so they did charge my credit card the full price of this reel, which is $399 or $499. But once I ship it back to them, they'll refund me. So it's an opportunity to try some premium reels for about 20 bucks, and then you kind of know what you want to get if you want to go that route. Now, first impressions of this thing, I absolutely love it. I mean, it looks space age. That Japanese, I wouldn't call it architecture, but design on this thing is absolutely phenomenal. Premium quality parts here. This thing is built to last, I'll tell you that much. Drag system is extremely stout. Caught a fish on it, throwing around this 3/8 ounce buzz toad. Caught just under a 4 pound. You know what, let's flip to the video of me catching that fish on this Shimano Metanium. Well, I didn't have the camera on. I was about to sit down and talk about the reel here and cast this buzzbait out with a Shimano again, Metanium, and I got one hooked on here, so let's get him here in a second. Show you what I got. Come here. It handles this fish really well. It sure does. Nice drag on him, loosen it up a little bit, let him pull. That's good. That's a topwater bite. Buzzbait. That's a good fish, man. And of course I don't have the net out. And he don't look hooked very good. I'll be right back, fellas and gals. Solid fish right here. Solid fish. Looks like a spawned out female. Shimano Metanium DC on the buzzbait, the buzz toad. Yeah, she looks spawned out. Look at that red tail there. But we'll get her back in the water. But solid fish. This reel handled real well. I'm impressed with it. I'm certainly impressed with it. So as you saw, this reel handled that fish extremely well. Again, I took the scale out. It wasn't on camera. 3 pounds, 14 ounces. So she was spawned out. So she was probably just over 4 pounds when she spawned. So solid quality fish. And I was happy to catch her. In fact, I just dropped the poles to start talking about it when I cast out and she hit this buzz toad. So absolutely outstanding, right? I'm hooked, right? This reel is awesome. Now, the best part of it, as I said, is the DC technology. Now, DC stands for digital control. Shimano basically put a microchip in here, so when you cast, that microchip controls the speed of that spool. So as line is coming off and as it starts to descend, it backs off, so it diminishes the amount of backlash and bird nest you get. It doesn't prevent it. I was really whipping this thing around and seeing what it could do earlier, and it does backlash. And here's a short little clip of, well, you can see what it does. So again, this reel isn't impervious to backlash, but I am impressed. I'm testing this thing out and it backlashes a whole lot less if I would have picked up one of my other reels. Absolutely outstanding. Now, internally, you can take this off And I'll probably show you this on a different screen here. You can take this thing off. Internal mechanism where you can adjust for the type of line you have. Braid, you've got nylon, you've got fluoro. So you can make the adjustment so that that spool understands how it needs to compensate for how that line comes off as you cast out. And then on the side here as well, you've got a brake adjustment where you can go from 1 through 4, and then auto. And the higher you go is more for finesse. So they say, like, if you're on 1 or 2, you want your heavier lures, 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, and as you get more and more finesse, you want to increase that number on that braking system to tell the microchip how to slow that spool down, so that way, you know, you don't get your backlash. Now I will notice, and we'll go out here in a second and show you, but the higher you go, obviously you're not going to get as much casting distance. So I found out throwing into the wind with the 3/8 ounce buzz toad, number 2 works. If I'm throwing with the wind or there's really no wind, that number 1, I can cast this thing a mile. You saw in the beginning, I took my thumb off there, no backlash whatsoever. So it's absolutely outstanding in that regard. So with that said, let's put the chesty on and let's go cast this thing around a little bit on the different settings. So up here, just kind of let you guys know, as you can see, I'm throwing this 3/8 ounce buzz toad around. I had success on earlier. Shimano DC Mojo bass rod. This is their medium power 6/8 rod. It's my top water and sometimes jerkbait rod. We're gonna cast this thing around to show you guys what it does. So right now, I'll hold it up here, and you just got this on here because it's a demo version. Yours wouldn't have this, but you can adjust your brake settings. I already adjusted the internal, but you set it here on auto. Right, this is the auto setting. If you're new to bait casting and you for some reason have this reel, it's probably one you want to go on, but we'll cast it out here and I'll show you how it does. Again, no thumb. It's actually got pretty good distance on there for this thing. Kind of spin this thing back here, reel this thing in. Again, this thing reels extremely smooth. We got a C130 above us, but again, extremely smooth when you reel this thing. We'll do it one more time on auto here so you can see that. But again, not bad casting distance on auto. It's not the greatest, but it definitely does it. And if you're throwing into the wind, as I was doing earlier, to initially start off with, auto works extremely well. Now if we pop this down to number 4 here, you can see what it does. I'll cast out, obviously nothing. It's a little less casting, castability there. Again, those brakes are higher, and it's that microchip is compensating more, so it's more supposed to be for finesse your lighter lures. Now you drop it down to number 3, we can do the same thing. Again, we're getting a little more distance out of that. I threw that down into a bunch of weeds down there. But a little more distance out of that, which is nice. Again, if it's a really windy day and I've got to cast into the wind, I may even go to number 3 if I've kept this lure all the time. Let me clean this up here, guys. But again, mostly I'll adjust it to back to number 2. Right there, you can see that number 2. And that's, I keep it on number 2, number 1. And I'm throwing a little bit into the wind there. But again, a little further cast on that. The wind had picked up a little bit. But still absolutely outstanding for that capability. And now the last one here is, let's go down to number 1. Now I'm not going to show you the open because that's where I backlashed earlier. But we're here on number 1, adjusted at number 1. We'll cast out. And that thing goes a mile. Absolutely love that. And again, so smooth reeling this thing in. I really wish I could hook a big one right now. That'd be awesome. But absolutely outstanding. And the fact that this digital control really diminishes backlashes, it's awesome. Now I'm gonna have to try out the other DC models, the Corrados and all, to see if they're just as good as this, but absolutely. I love this DC technology, and I've only been fishing this thing for a day or 2 now, so absolutely outstanding. With that said, that's casting around. We'll go back here to the other video to the other screen and I'll wrap this up for you guys. I actually lied to you guys. I got one more thing I want to talk about here before I wrap up the video, and it's something I do not like about this reel. So let me make a really long cast here. So, almost there. I'm gonna strip it down a little more. All right. As you can see here, that's just a smooth, what am I trying to say? A smooth spool there. There's nothing that your line goes into or it's indented there to grip onto. So when I actually made a really long cast yesterday with the wind, this line came all the way off. Again, it's only 3/4 of the way spooled. That's how it came. And I'm not going to put a bunch of line on it for a demo version, so I'm going to use this braid here. But it was actually kind of difficult. I had to back it up like 6 or 7 times before it would catch and before I could actually reel it in. So that is a drawback, is that that's extremely smooth there. So it would make it a little harder to get the line on. And if for some reason you run the line down and you make that long cast and you want it reeled back, it may be a little hurt there. Now, if you keep your line or your reel lined up like you're supposed to, that's not really going to be an issue. But that is something to make note of. I would expect, and maybe it has something to do with the DC capability and they can't do that. But I know my Lus and my Abus and my other reels, you've got that indentation or you've got some holes there that you can thread your line through so it grips faster when you go to put your line on. So that's my only really fault with this reel, is that I wish they would have added that additional feature on the spool there. But I'm gonna make one more cast and we're gonna swap over to the other screen and wrap up this video. Hey guys, so time to wrap up the video here. I am in love with the Shimano Metanium DC. That digital control casting is absolutely amazing. Now I'm gonna have to try out some of the other DC reels to see if they're just as good, because I jumped in with the big boys right here. Throwing those 3/8 around buzzbait around, absolutely outstanding. It really does prevent backlash, and I can see it would be great for skipping. It can be great for a lot of applications. Again, this is, I don't think I mentioned it, but this one is in 7:4 to 1 gear ratio. They make an 8:5 to 1 gear ratio. So the complaint I do have is that I wish they had more options, 6:3 to 1, 6:4 to 1, maybe a 5:4 to 1, 5:1 to 1, because I'd love to crank with this thing if it had that lower gear ratio, but they don't. Again, and the other complaint I had is that spool doesn't have something in there to grip onto when you go to spool your line. But other than that, absolutely outstanding. I wish I could have a bunch of these, and if I could convince my wife, I would, but it is $500 a pop, so that's not gonna happen. Maybe I can convince her for anniversary gift or birthday gift or Christmas gift later on. But I'm not gonna go out and buy this just because of the cost of it. It's $1,000. But with that said, absolutely outstanding reel. If you can afford it, or you just wanna get one premium reel, go do it. Do the demo program. And I want to try out some of the other DC reels, let you know, and I may go with those options because they're more affordable. But the Shimano Metanium DC is absolutely outstanding. It's a workhorse, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. That's my review of it for fishing it for a day or two, get an experience on it. But with that said, go out there and fish. See you guys out there next time, and a lunker is one cast away.